Hi guys, you are here again with Chelsea at Stepping Stones Play Center. What I like to show you right now is I like to show you how to set up a trial and how to run a trial. A trial is just the structured situation around teaching a behavior, a target response to a kid. So, like, for example, anything we're teaching a kid, we're taking data on, we're doing it in a structured way. Now, this is going to be a more structured way. Ideally, if our child is able to handle it, we do it in a most loose or more loose atmosphere. And we'll talk about that a little bit. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to make sure that your client is not engaged in an incompatible behavior. Now, incompatible means that as they're doing that, they cannot do what we're wanting them to do. So, for example, as you're watching this video, right, it has your visual attention, it has your audio attention. Would it be fair for somebody to be calling your name over there? That would split your attention. So these are things we're not going to do with our kids. So for example, a program that we have more often with our kids is responding to name with eye contact. But if they're already watching TV, it's not a great time for us to run that trial unless we are in a more advanced phase of the child. We know that they hear us and they're aware. They're just ignoring us so that they can maintain access, as we talked about in one of our last videos, maintain access to that preferred show. So, for another example, our kid has something in their hands. They're playing with something, or they're doing homework, or they're doing chores. They have something in their hands. We are not going to ask them to do something with their hands as they have something in their hands. This is an incompatible. So if we want them to clap, we're not going to have them to have something in their hands and then we give the instruction clap. Because guess what happens? Now they have to mentally process, clap, wait a minute, does that mean to relinquish access to this thing that I really want? Or they may actually be processing, okay, does that mean I put this down on the table, on the floor? Should I throw it? Should I give it to you? How do I get my hands free to clap? And some kids may not be at the cognitive processing stage to even know, how can I clap? I have these in my hands. They may be at a phase where they're not able to, I forget what you call it, but there's mental planning, I think. They're not able to plan, wait, how do I get to where I need to be from where I'm at right now with my hands being occupied? So for that reason, we are not going to expect them or ask them to do something when they are not physically in a situation to be able to do it. So it would be more like, before we say clap your hands, we'd say, hey, you got some balls, toss them over here to me. Whoa, that was such a good throw, awesome. And now their hands are free, and now we can go ahead and give that instruction. So first, we're going to make sure our kids are not, or our clients are not, already engaged in an incompatible behavior. So incompatible, again, means that as they are doing that one thing, they can't do this thing that we want. They cannot engage in the appropriate target behavior. That is the definition that I'm going to expect you guys to know and remember. Okay, so they're not engaged in incompatible. Now, the second thing you're going to do is you're going to make sure that the environment is what they need it to be. So some of our kids were actually in a teaching and training phase of them being able to focus when there are some other distractions around. Some of our kids are in a phase where we know that they need no distractions. So this is the difference in a very clear table or us actually going to a kiddo's desk and saying, hey, where's your pencil? At your desk, where there's a coloring book and crayons and markers and rulers and pencils, as opposed to having one pencil in one spot. I'm gonna move down to our learning zone now. And there's no other distractors, except maybe we should have another item. So we're gonna know our child's environment, the environment that we need to work within. Okay, now the most important thing, most important thing about running a trial is establishing the reinforcer. So before we say, touch your pencil or where is the mask or clap your hands, we're going to establish a reinforcer, because get this, if we say to our child, clap your hands, and he doesn't want to, now what are we going to do except force them or hand over hand or prompt them? Now, isn't it so much better to have that power of, we've already established a reinforcer, clap your hands, we know the child is being non-compliant or not complying, and now we tell them, okay, you're not going to get your red ball, right? But we can't do that after we said clap your hands. We cannot say clap your hands and then say, okay, well, if you do, I'll give you the red ball. That's what we call a bribe. Okay, so we establish a reinforcer. Ideally, we have a couple of things and we say, hey, which one is cool? Which one do you want? Or I'm playing with these. I'm going to see which one you gravitate to. Or we can just, outright ask, which one of these do you want? Now, if we want to be more naturalistic, we might say, oh my gosh, look what I brought in today, a blue elephant. Have you ever seen such a thing? It is so cute. Oh my goodness. But you know what I can do with this ball? I can twirl it on my finger and da-da-da. So we may want to kind of entice the child, and then either they ask for it or reach for it, and then we're like, you want to see my cool elephant? Oh my gosh. And now we introduce what they have to do for it. Now we introduce the instruction, the SD, the target that we're working on. The reason why I choose to do it this way is, one, like I said, if we have not already established the reinforcer, then once they show behavior, and if it's not just like, oh, I'm not sure what you want type of behavior, but if it's some type of compliance issue or a refusal or something like that, we have no power. We have no power. Now we just have to bluntly follow through, whereas it would be more finessed if we were able to say, hey, remember you wanted this though, and this doesn't go to anybody that's not listening and not trying, So that is one reason why we offer our reinforcer, we establish our reinforcer prior to. The other reason is because if we said, hey, we're going to do identifying our mask, and we're going to do identifying a pencil. Okay, now what do you want to work for? Depending on how hard this task is, I've seen many children, I really have, to look at what we have to offer and almost be like, no, you got to give me something better than that, because that's really a non-preferred for me. So by us offering our reinforcer first, or establishing that first, it's almost like we're kind of distracting them into like choosing something. And once they've committed to something, it's their idea. They're more willing to go ahead with like, okay, well, I'll do what it takes, as opposed to them weighing out the benefit and, risk of, I don't really want that thing enough to do what you're asking me to do. So we offer them and establish the reinforcer first. For example, think about this. Honestly, think about this. If you're, somewhere, and it's a social setting, which I know we're social distancing, but let's imagine back in the day, 5 months ago, you're somewhere, you're hanging out with some friends, and friends of friends, right? You don't know everybody, but somebody walks up to you and says, hey, look, do you want to see the elephant or you want to see the red ball? How likely are you to say, no, I don't want either, leave me alone? You're not. Not very likely. You're going to kind of choose one. And once you've chosen one, then they say, well, can you just tell me your name and I'll let you see it? You're going to go along with that. But if somebody just walks up to you, hey, tell me your name, that's like a little weird. And then they're like, okay, tell me your name and I'll give you this. Now you weigh out, wait a minute, why does this person want to know my name? And is it really worth an elephant, a little toy elephant? Same concept. So we establish the reinforcer. Once we establish the reinforcer, now I know that a lot of you guys have learned to give a very clear and concise SD, right? Yes, that makes a lot of sense depending on the phase that your child is in. So if you have a child that really has some attention issues and some discriminating issues like, auditory and that sort of thing, then yes, you may need to say, give me pencil. However, what I like to do is I like to say generalize from the beginning. So I like to say, hey, what does mom usually say? Like, how does she usually, ask for things from her kids? Or how do the other siblings usually gain access to things from our client or whatever? And I like to mix that up. So sometimes we might say, give me pen. Sometimes, or pencil, we might say, where's my pencil? Or we might say, touch the pencil. Or we might say, I need a pencil, and we want to train the child. We're training the child. We want to train the child that when somebody says, I need a pencil, and there's one right in front of you, you hand it to them. We don't always have to say, give me pencil, because you know what can happen? With some of our kids, I call them very great learners. They learn very specifically. And if they do, if we say, give me pencil, give me pencil, give me pencil, and we mark that off eventually as mastered, and mom says, I need a pencil, and brother says, where's my pencil? Our child may not respond to them by giving them pencil, and parent will be like, they never give me what I asked for. And it's because inadvertently we have trained our child to respond to this very static and strict command. So I like to, from the beginning, think of at least a couple or a few different ways, and these few different ways of delivering the SD should align with what is in line with their household. You know, sometimes we may even do English Spanish if we know, like, the family, one person only speaks Spanish and, you know, most of the other house English, because we want to maintain that when a pen is present and the child hears that instruction, they're going to do it. Making sure that we're varying our SD, our instruction from the beginning. Like I said, we'll talking about the environment in which we're teaching the child. If we're teaching a child and they're capable of learning much more naturalistically, we would want to maybe say, give me pencil, not in the presence of a mask, because those things are very not likely to be together, but we may actually have a couple of crayons right here and a piece of paper. And so we're emulating, or even really going over to their real desk. And at their real desk with those other distractions or those other items, then we're like, give me a pencil. Where's the pencil? I need a pencil. Touch the pencil. That sort of thing. Okay, so we are generalizing from the beginning if our child is able and capable of dealing with that. The next thing is going to be help. So if we say, hey, I need a pencil, and our kid doesn't respond, now we're going to give some level of help. Now, our level of help maybe, I'm going to come down to the camera, maybe that we're like, hey, I need the pencil, and we kind of point over to the pencil. Hey, I need the pencil, and we kind of look over towards the pencil. Hey, I need the pencil, give me the pencil, and we kind of move it more towards them. So when we give the help, so if our client or a kid gets it wrong, we give them the feedback, give me pencil, and he does not do it. No, try again. Give me pencil. And as we now say it, simultaneously, we're giving the help. Give me pencil, and we're moving it towards him. Give me pencil, and we're holding it up and putting it down. Give me pencil, we're tapping it. Give me pencil, hand over hand. That is most intrusive, but if needed, and we really see that our kid is struggling, you know, we may even do some type of prompting that is auditory or verbal on our part. Give me pencil, because we think maybe they're not understanding, or their auditory processing is not is what's keeping them from being able to do it. So the idea is we give the instruction, they don't do it, they don't look like they're about to do it. So this is going to be very specific to each of your kiddos. However, some kids process at a different rate than other kids. So we don't want to be like, give me pencil, 1, 2, give me pencil, give me pencil. Like, this may be way too fast for your client. Some of our kids, this is exactly, you know, this is how fast they process. Usually it's at least 2 or 3 seconds. And that's appropriate. Some of your kiddos, you know, it's going to be like they need at least 5 seconds, because they are processing that. They need to hear, and then they need to replay what you said. They need to look, and then look back, and then they need to remember and identify. And this process may take 5 to 7 seconds. So the rule of thumb for when to help, when to prompt is within that child's processing time. How do you tell what that is? Well, have they responded? So you say, give me pencil, and they don't make any, like, their eye contact does not go from your face to the table, they're probably still processing. You know, give them another second or 2. Now, if you say, give me pencil, and they start to clap, you don't have to wait even 2 seconds. They did the wrong thing. You know, you can, nope, that's not it, and intervene. So either they're processing and you're giving them that time for processing, or they're engaging in an incorrect response. Once they begin to engage, or you see that they're going for the wrong answer, that is exactly the right time that you want to give them that feedback. No, that's not it, whatever. And even the feedback, generalize that if possible, and appropriate. Give the feedback that parents and teachers are giving, so that the kid is really getting used to, you know, that. Okay, so you're going to give them help, and you're going to escalate in giving them help, more help until they get it right. Once they finally get it right, give me pencil, and they don't do it. Now again, you give the instruction and at the same time the help, give me pencil, and now they actually give it to you. Good job. You're going to give them that verbal feedback about, you did it right. However, we're not going to give them the tangible yet. Not yet. That's for independent. And now we can mix it if we want, or we can leave it in the same spot depending on how your child learns. Now, if you know this is going to be too confusing, don't mix it. That's okay. Now you're going for what we call a transfer trial, or a trial that is checking to see if our help helped. Now we're going to say, give me pencil, and we're going to be so hopeful that because of the last help we gave them, they're going to get it right. Give me pencil, and they give it to us. Awesome, good job, that's the pencil. And now we give them the tangible. The tangible is only coming for when they get it right without our help. So if we say the SD or the instruction and they get it right without our help, we give them the tangible. If they don't, then now we give them some other type of help, because obviously the last help we gave them by moving it closer didn't stick, wasn't good enough. Right? And so that is how we run a trial. We make sure that not engaged in any incompatible behavior, so they're not already doing something that will keep them from doing what we need them to do. We make sure their environment is what it needs to be as far as clear, or including other items or whatever. We make sure that we establish the reinforcer before we give the instruction. So before the kid is gonna know what we want from them, we're already establishing the reinforcer. It may be very direct, as in, hey, do you want a heart or do you want an elephant? Or it may be indirect as far as like kind of a preference assessment. Some things strewn around and we see which one they're gravitating to. And we're like, hey, I got some stuff. Which one you like the best? And when they choose, then we know, oh, okay, you're going to be working for this. Establish the reinforcer. And then giving the instruction in a varied manner if your child is able to handle that, giving feedback. Make sure that when they get it right, when they get it wrong, we're giving immediate verbal feedback, and giving help when they need it. So we're not going to just keep saying, give me pencil, give me pencil. Nope, try again, give me pencil. Because if they didn't get it the first time, it's going to just simply be a process of elimination. Or we're going to sound like a broken record, and why would we keep telling them the same thing, having an expectation of different behavior when we're not doing anything different? So we're going to give the SD and give them help, and then we're always going to try for, if our child is able to tolerate however many times, trials we do, we're going to try for an independent correct. And then giving the tangible, whatever that may be, only for the independent correct. So only the time that we give the SD and they did not need us to help. Okay, I know that was a lot, and I know that that was fast. However, that is how we do a trial. And we do every single trial like that. Even if we were to get into a play situation, more naturalistic situation, we are always making sure not engaged in incompatible, always making sure we're setting up the reinforcer prior to, we know what we're going to reinforce the child with, making sure that we're giving the SD, we're varying the instruction in SD, making sure that we're jumping in to help the child when we realize, okay, they didn't get it, let me help them. And we're giving that verbal feedback. You got it right, you didn't get it right, yeah, cool, thumbs up or whatever, and giving the tangible only for the independent correct. All right, guys, I hope this is very helpful to you. Thanks so much for watching.